Hey guys, this is MakerOfBeauty doing the introduction for my peony set. My peony package is going to include 4 different petals. I'm not going to be offering them as individual, it's just going to be one package. One of the petals looks like this. Let me grab the one that has not been styled. You know, peonies have a lot of texture to it and a lot of curves, and that's what I tried to recreate in a paper flower world. So one of them looks like this. The second one is a bit of a more of a simple peony. You know, it looks like as if it's even, but it's really not, because that side is bigger slightly. It's not the, you know, like precise it's not the precise look on each side, which is what the peonies are all about. The third petal looks like this. You know, again, it's 2 sides to it, but the rolling hills, as I would call it, right, is more on this right side than it is on the left side. And then last one is this one. It's actually very similar to the one that we're going to be styling tonight, but there are some differences. So as you can see it, if you look at them side by side, you know, this one has deeper groves. Here's this one only has 1 deep grove. Both of them have pointy ends, but you know, it has like a rolling shapes to it, whereas this one has more of a pointy to it. The beautiful part about this petal is that you can style them in so many different ways, and because of the shape, right, where you have one side higher than the other one, you know, you can really do amazing things to it and add a lot of a texture. So what we're going to be doing tonight is going to be working with the a fairly large flower. My base is 9 inches. My largest petal is 7 inches. And what I did was I flipped the things just a little bit, okay? And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So my first layer, the pointy side is on the right hand side. Then for my second layer, the pointy side is on the left side, and then the remaining of them, right, I switch back again, and my pointy is on the right side again. One thing to keep in mind, if you're working with a metallic paper and it's not metallic on both sides, when you set up your template, your petals in a design space, make sure that you flip it whichever way you want to, because you know, once it cuts it and it's not metallic on both sides, you know, your flip might not work if you didn't cut it, you know, exactly the way you meant to cut it. And in terms of the curling, what I'm going to be doing is that the first layer, the curl is going to be on the pointy side, going downward. On the subsequent layer, right, which is my large one, since this one is extra large, the pointy is on the left, but I'm curling my small side, and that is just to show, you know, the beauty of this pointy stuff too, and plus just create a, you know, different look. And then for my medium layer, I'm continuing on to curl it, you know, the pointy side downward again. But then on my very last petal, it's still curling the pointy side, which is right on the right, but doing it upwards, right? And what that's gonna do, it's gonna end up giving you a very, very, you know, different look. It's going to be unique, and that's one of the things about the peonies, that they're very fluffy, like there is no mathematical precision to them, and that's exactly what I'm trying to recreate. And what I am also doing is, even though that I know that for my last 2 layers I will not need to have 8 petals, since it's going to be pretty large flower, I still cut out 8 petals, because what I want to do is I want to have 2 petals from each of my template and create its own very unique flower. I do that actually quite a lot, and if I have the bandwidth, I'm gonna end up doing this tonight. So it's gonna be separate tutorial, but just in case if you're listening to this, you know, that's kind of like me giving you a heads up. Okay, so all I'm doing is right now is gluing my 2 pieces of a 100-pound paper The reason I'm doing that is because I want to have a sturdy center, right? Because it's going to be a large flower. I want it to stay put. The best thing is I found that, you know, to use something heavy like a cardboard. I mean, that's just great for anything that goes over 15 inches, but this also, you know, pretty good to start with. Okay, so without any further delay, we're gonna start. So we are going off for the very first large layer, and I'm going to just put in enough to glue it on one side, but I'm gonna keep the other side pretty open because it's 8 petals, right? I'm not going to follow my usual rule where I'm going to put the other petal on the opposite end. That really only works when you have 6 petals. Like, that's when it's the best. In this case, I'm just going to continue on with the circle. But you know what you probably should do when you working with large petals and you know fairly new, just lay them out, right, like on a circle just like this, to sort of have an idea of how much of overlap you should do. Like, should they be touching each other, should they not be touching each other? That's just something I found, you know, like very useful to do when I was just learning how to put the flowers together. So I definitely wanted to be touching it, but I need to bring this side a little bit more out. So just like this, and I'm gonna keep on going on the center. If you are not comfortable working with the center in, you know, with larger flowers like this, then you definitely probably want to have something that has like hexagon, right? Is the hexagon the one that has 6? No, maybe not. Okay. Also, one thing I want to notice is that I did not make this to lay pretty flat, and the reason to that is because you know, peony would not look good being a flat flower. So this is fairly standing up, which is you know, even though I'm working with the 7-inch petal as a starting point and my base is 9 inches, it's not going to be, let's count, right? So 7 inches plus 7 inches, 14 inches, plus 9-inch base is 23. I'm not gonna get 23 inches for sure. The reason is because, you know, the real estate space gets eaten up by putting the petal on the flower, but also because I made it pretty standing as opposed to pretty flat. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I feel like I ran out of well, what do you know, guys? I was talking so much I didn't did I grab the right one? Yeah, I did. Right, this is a bigger one. Yeah. Okay. So looks like I positioned them a little bit too much wide out, and I will need a 9th petal, which is okay because I have some extras. Okay. Let's see. All right, guys. So then we're just gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. Okay. I definitely messed it up. Glued them on a little bit too tight, and I did not make them as flat. Probably should have done, but that's okay. The beautiful part about this is that because it's so fluffy, it's gonna come out looking great at the end no matter what. Okay, so let me see what extra petals I have, and I'm gonna grab something here. Well, if I put this one in here, that would, let's see. Well, that kind of messed things up for me just a little bit, guys, if you don't mind me saying so, because in order for me to trick this into looking let me just bring this over here. Like you can see what I'm struggling with, right? I don't want to reopen this all over again. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to manipulate the medium size to match I'm trying to manipulate the medium size to match, you know, the large one by forcing it upward a little bit. But if I do that, that's not going to give me enough all of the coverage right in here. So it looks like I might have to grab one more. Okay. All right. Well, that's going to do the trick. By the way, I just want to point it out that I could have totally stopped this and started all over again, but I don't want to. The reason to that is because to me, part of the learning is also learning how you can have, you know, all these different tips and tricks on how to fix up your mistakes, especially when working with large flowers. And the thing about the peony that it's absolutely not perfect. It's very fluffy, it's very big, and you can see it, right, that I visually matched it up, everything in there, but just pushing the medium one outwardly. Okay. And one thing that I should point it out is that, you know, like I'm okay with this not being precise because this is being done for the 8x8 backdrop, and that's gonna have so many flowers that whatever the little small imperfections I have, it's all gonna be hidden. Okay, let me pause here for a second. So you guys can see it, right? I just wanna shake it for you. It's okay. So be very generous with the amount of the glue that you're putting in. The reason to that is it's a large flower. You know, the way you make it to stay sturdy is you put glue to secure it nicely everywhere. So I'm just going to force it so that goes like between these two layers. Yeah, so going back to about, you know, like I don't hide my mistakes because, you know, I also want you to learn how to cover for those mistakes, because many times, you know, I see people like posting questions and asking, it's like, oh, why my flower doesn't look perfect, you know, it's like I watched this tutorial and what's going on. And what's going on is that, you know, people show you what I call happy pass. It's I have a project management experience, and when you calculate the project timeline and such, right, there is something called happy pass. And you know, the happy pass is where like the budget works out, everybody comes on time, everything is hunky-dory. Well, like boohoo, that's not how it always works. And it's important to know how to cover up your mistakes. So I have absolutely no problem showing that yes, I also make mistakes, because you know, sometimes I talk too much. I think though, you know, pretty soon I will start just making very quick tutorials, because I feel that I have generated enough tutorials where, like, if people wanted to learn how to do something following my templates, I have enough of the very detailed videos where they can definitely learn that. Okay. All right, and we are definitely back in business. Okay. Looks like quite a bit of a glue went out in there too, so I'm just gonna tuck that in. Okay. Now, if you feel that, you know, your flower at this point could use a little bit more of a glue in some spots, you know, definitely do that now. Just, you know, like lift it up, see where you might need to put it in, and just, you know, like add a bit of a dab of the glue, because it's all being hidden. It's kind of like behind the scene, and you know, this will make sure that your 20-inch flower is not going to be flopping on you, and it's going to be sturdy. You'll be able to reuse it again, whether you decide to use a Velcro, or if you're doing pins, or if you're hot gluing it. And it's going to stay sturdy and nice. So I'm just going everywhere with my glue. Let's see, just a little bit here. Okay, so again, right, I'm just gonna pick it up and shake it, guys, to show you that it's pretty sturdy. It's not falling. All right, so we're moving on to the next layer of petals, and this is where it, you know, the pointy side is still on the right hand side. And if you hear the noises like somebody's coming down from upstairs, there's my husband. Okay, so now that we're back to 8 and 8 and 8, I'm going to put this one right in between. In the previous round, you know, I sort of like winged it, so to speak. Again, very generous with the glue. I'm putting in 2 dabs. Oh, hold on. I grabbed the wrong petal, so I'm just gonna I put both sets right next to each other. So I'm still continuing on with the one where both of the pointy sides are downward. Oh, I keep grabbing the very last number of petals. So at this point, right, you might need 8. It really depends on how much you're layering it over here, or you might not need 8. I'm actually gonna try to see if I can just do with 7. But really, right, the more petals you put it in, the fluffier your flower looks, and the less petals you put in, you know, like the less fluffy it looks. So that's how, you know, you decide whether or not you want to put in a lot. There is this one thing that I'm gonna try to do, and what I have in mind is to create a flower where the petals are pretty much the same size, and then you know, work that flower basically by just printing a lot of the petals, and you style it until you get it as fluffy as you need it to be. Okay, so I'm gonna borrow this one, and I'm just gonna do downward. This is actually a petal from not the identical petal, but because it's big, it's fluffy, it's completely going to cover it up. And I told you guys, right, that I'm printing like extras. The reason I'm printing extras is precisely because I want to take all kind of different petals and put them together and see what happens. So that's the last one right here. And now I'm just gonna, oops, okay, I'm rushing a little bit, so I need to slow down so I don't make mistakes for not so many. So now I'm just securing it. That's what I was doing in here. So I'm just gonna move this out a little bit so you can see it. So I'm just going in, lifting my petals, and giving it a dab of a glue underneath even more to make sure that it's secured, it stays put in one place. Okay, now theoretically, if you had a very fluffy center, right, you could have absolutely stopped in here and that would look great. I actually have a center, so I'm gonna grab something just to show you that you could absolutely stop here. I have this, what I call large layered flowers, right? This is the 8 inches single cut, and you know, you could glue this in, leave it just right here, like just like this, and that would look absolutely wonderful. And so if you're looking at, you know, making 8 by 8 type of a paper, right? I mean, it's a, here you have it. As you can see, it even was a making tutorial. It did not take me that long of a time to make it, but I'm gonna keep on going because I want to make it fluffier inside. And so let's see, this is my last petal, and what I'm doing with that one is I know that I will not need 6 of them, right? I'm sorry, I know that I will not need 8 of them. The reason I know it is because like the base of it is pretty fat and I'm running out of the real estate space. And also I am curling this the opposite direction. Right now I'm curling it inward. And you know guys, like one of the beautiful things about the large flowers with big petals is that if you feel like you want to put it in a little bit more of a curl, you absolutely can do it. By the way, I'm very excited that like that mistake had happened, because that was a very good demo of me saying that this is super versatile petals. You can, you know, use them in so many different ways. And because it's peony and it's very fluffy, right? And it's not precise. It's just absolutely easy. Okay, let's see. Okay, so definitely 6 gonna be enough. What I could do, right, is to cut more of the 6, what is it, the last petal, right, and just keep going, and you know, like in a circle motion again and again, but I don't think I'll be doing that. So here's my last petal. So I'm gonna tuck that in. Okay, I need a little bit more space. I'm just gonna lift this up so I can tuck it in. Okay, so what I want to do for the center is to use what will actually come as part of the package, which is the a layered flower with 6 petals, with the petals look like peonies, right? And you can style them whichever way you want to. I basically printed out 5 layers, and my 2 layers are the same size. My 3rd layer, hold on a second, 3 layers same size, and then 2 layers smaller size, right? And you don't have to reduce it as drastically as I did between the large and small. You can, you know, make them a little bit more gradual. It's entirely up to you. But the way you do it is, you know, you curl them in many different directions. You can see it closely right in here. There is no one specific direction. And then when you put it on, you make sure that your subsequent layers go in between the petals, not layering it like one on top of each other. So that's what is my plan to use for this. And I'm going to glue it on right now. I also wanted to show you that I have this, but that would not fit, it's nowhere near, like it wouldn't fit here, because this petal is all smooth and such, whereas, you know, all the rest of them are very curly. So I'm gonna finish up with a curly center. Yes, the fringe will be part of this flower. Okay, and so there you have it, large fluffy flower. Well, thank you so much guys for watching. I'm going to next make a tutorial. Well, it's more like of a fun tutorial, right, of curling, using different petals to create a new unique looking flower. Hopefully you'll watch that one too. Okay, thank you so much.